Hello, everyone, and welcome to our weekly discussion series that's hosted by the Chaldean Cultural Center in collaboration with U of M Detroit Center, Unique Voices in Films, and CMN TV. I'm your host, Wiam Naimun, and today our guest is Sabah Yacoub. Hello, Sabah.
Hi, hello, no, hello,
So, Sabah was born in Iraq to a Chaldean family, descendant from the native inhabitants who entered Christianity in the era of St. Thomas the Apostle, one of the 12 disciples of Jesus Christ. He graduated from Baghdad Medical School and received a higher degree from the United Kingdom. He spent years of his life practicing his specialty of internal medicine and cardiology. His fourth book of poetry is entitled O Chaldeans, When Do We Rouse? I am so looking forward to read that book, by the way.
Okay. I'll try
So
to send you a copy.
thank you, thank you. So yeah, you're our neighbor. You live you go back and
Yeah.
forth between Canada and yeah. So I know I'll be able to get a copy easily.
Yes.
So first, let's start by you telling us about your childhood in Iraq and what prompted you to leave your homeland.
Well, thank you very much, Wihan. I'm pleased to be interviewed by the Chaldean Cultural Center. I'm quite impressed by the activities throughout what I hear and read about the Chaldean Cultural Center. I'm quite happy to be with you in the tent of the Chaldean Cultural Center. Well, actually, my childhood, actually, there is nothing significant. It is just the usual uh, childhood. But the thing is, I grown up in a family that usually they concentrate on study. I mean, they concentrate on study. They concentrate on earning university degree, getting for higher qualification. This is my family, my parents. I mean, especially my dad. That was his first priority, actually. And to my remembrance, I mean, I remember that he never allowed me or my siblings to work during the, summer holiday, as some other, my friends, they used to work. Because he got the philosophy that if I, if I, no, if I used to earn money, maybe I'll be away from my, I won't concentrate on my studying. So that was his, point of view. Well, maybe he was right or not, but I think that actually he achieved what was his mind. So that I mean, myself and my siblings, all we graduated, and we had every one of us has something. So this is and the second part of your question uh, about leaving the homeland. Actually, my dad never thought to leave the country at all. He never accepted this idea. And what happened actually after the Allied forces invaded Iraq in 2003, everything changed. And luckily, my wife, who got a master, who's basically civil engineer, but got a master degree and PhD degree in project engineering management. She is on the teaching staff at the engineering school in Al Mustansiriya University in Baghdad. She got a scholarship to the UK. And when she got a scholarship to the UK, I joined her with my kids to UK. And then that was in 2004. And actually, I mean, I left everything, as it is in my house. And just to think that I'll be back. But actually, when we were there, everybody was telling us, the people that we know in Baghdad, in Iraq, not to come back, not to come back, not to come back. So, so we stayed. I mean, we decided to stay. To me, it wasn't very difficult to make my living because I am I'm a graduate. I got the higher qualification from the UK. So the only thing that I needed to do is to renew my registration. And I did that, and then I just worked and continue working. And then we just stayed actually in the UK. and until we immigrated to Canada. So that is actually uh, that is what happened. Actually, it wasn't a plan for immigration, but it
But
was
it turned
a
into
forced plan.
it turned. So how did you feel about that though? The fact that you left your birthland, not expecting never to come back to it, and then having to live in another, just to embrace another country as your home. What was that immigration experience like? Or it's not even
Well,
it's a different kind of immigration experience.
yes, it is different kind of immigration. Actually, I mean, yeah, I mean, feeling, leaving the country is not something. It is an easy feeling. I mean, it's always hard to think that you left everything behind. I got the status. My wife, she got the status. I mean, in the UK, I got a nice experience. I mean, I love UK. My wife, she loves UK. My kids, they love UK. We love UK. We were so happy over there. I used to work as a doctor because I am fully registered over there. My wife, she started to do a second PhD. She got a degree in education. She had a part-time at the university. We were so happy actually in the UK. But the thing is what happened actually because the extended family of my wife, they are all in Canada actually. Her sisters, her brother, her parents. So they filed us an immigration, a process, and we came in Canada. To me, to be honest, I don't feel Canada is quite suitable for highly educated people. There are no chances actually, and Canada is a very huge country. I mean, if you want to work, you have to go somewhere far away. So I'm not quite happy with the experience in Canada. I mean, as comparison to the
Were
UK.
you able to continue with your work, or were you not in Canada?
Well, that's a good question. Actually, I did the examination, and although I mean the exam is a general exam, although my specialty is internal medicine and cardiology, but I managed to pass the examinations from the first shot. I mean, I never struggled for the exam, but the problem is, if I want to work, I have to go to Alberta or Newfoundland. And I mean, if I have to go there, I thought, well, if I'm going to Newfoundland, Alberta, and starting working there, so why did I came from the UK then? I came from the UK to join the family. I mean, the family, they are settled in Ontario. They are settled in Windsor. So going over there, it is not practical. And that's why I try to find some job which is around what we call around the bush. So around the bush of medicine. So I worked in a cardiac center, which is I used to do whatever I like. I to do echo, giving some consultation, monitoring the heart rhythm, teaching. I'm quite happy,
Well, yeah. So you were
with
able to continue to,
oh yeah.
to continue somewhat in your practice, and then all the meanwhile, how did you find the time to write your books? I know that you have several books out. What are your books about, and how do you have time to write them with all the work that you do?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, well, this is good. This is another good question. Actually, the books, they are all poems. And I started writing poems when I was in the first year of my secondary school. We call it their secondary school in my homeland. It is equivalent to grade 10. Grade 10. I started writing poem in grade 10. And actually, when I entered the medical school, I stopped writing because I was so busy with reading and studying. I stopped writing poems, but very occasionally I used to do that. Very occasionally. Anyway, I came back to write poem all of a sudden without any. I don't know. I mean, it just happened in 2014. And then, something I was forgetting about, and then it just recreated again. So I just continued to write the poems. And everybody, when reading the poem, I mean, well, I think that I am a poetry person, but I'm not actually. I always tell them that I can arrange the words and put a rhyme and you call it a poem. It is not. That's what I feel.
By any chance, do you have your latest book on hand or no? I, I didn't
Yeah,
think.
I got 4 books. You want to talk about books? I can talk
Yeah,
about
if
the
I
books.
also, if you can hold up especially your latest book and the title, "O Chaldeans, When Do We Rouse?" By the way, are your books in Arabic or English?
Oh, this is very interesting questions.
Mhm.
My books actually they are in both languages.
Oh, they
They
are.
are, yeah. I mean, each book is in Arabic
Mhm.
and English, page to page. I mean, page in Arabic and the translation in English. I did the translation myself.
Mhm.
It is a non-literal translation. You know that, I mean, you cannot translate literally the poems because they
Right.
will lose the meaning.
Mhm.
So I cannot give the translation to somebody else because maybe he or she, they can't understand what I am intending to say. So the best thing to do is I have to translate, although it will take time, much time, effort. So I translate the poems, and they are, as I said, and in all the books they are in both languages because there is no point of writing only in Arabic, especially when you are living in a place where people are, I mean, are speaking different language.
Actually, I love that. Father Buzzy also has a couple of the books that I have by him has the Arabic section.
Yes.
He has Arabic, he has Surah, and he has English. And I just enjoy
Hmm.
so much. It strengthens all of. I mean, I'm more
Yeah.
prolific in English, but
Yeah.
it strengthens, and it also helps you understand the meaning in different ways.
Yes.
So tell us about your book, and if you have one on hand, if you could read one of your poems, that would be wonderful, or a couple of them actually.
Is that the one,
I
the
think our
Occardian?
audience are, yeah. Oh, yes, yes, that's a beautiful cover. Very
Yeah.
beautiful cover.
Yeah. This is the Babylon. I
Who
mean,
did
those
your
people.
artwork?
Sorry. Well, this I selected this artwork
You
because
selected
I
it.
yeah, because I bought the package,
Mhm.
and within the
Oh, and it
package,
was available. Oh, wow, it's very unique. I haven't seen it.
yeah,
Very beautiful.
yeah, I bought the package, and then I mean, within the package I can select a design. They give me the option of a design, and they give me a link, and I go to that link, and there are thousands of designs. So I just selected
Yeah,
something that
put
is
it up a
related.
little bit again, a little bit higher too, because the bottom part. Yeah, that is a beautiful
Yeah.
book design. So yeah, please share a couple of your poems. I think the audience is gonna love hearing them, and you can choose, do it whichever language you feel is appropriate for your poem.
Well, I select randomly. Well, the thing is, I mean, I just, uh, I mean, in each book also there are some sketches. I can show you the sketches. Oh,
Yes, please do. Go ahead.
yeah, in each book there are sketches.
Yeah,
I mean,
you can raise it up and we can see it. That would be
yeah.
great.
For example, this is a sketch.
Hmm.
It is black and white,
Yes.
and these are sketches that are drawn by many artists. Some of the artists they are professionals. Some of they are just they paint just as a hobby, and which is quite good. These are some of them. I mean, the artist. One of them is my brother, and the other artist is my daughter. And I got my niece. I got my colleagues, doctor. So there are a few artists in each. I mean, they contributed to the book, which I am quite happy for that. I can read for you just randomly. Chaldeans, are you really of one nation? Of you who claims to be of Arab origin, some for the Assyrian are fighting, others with the Kurds in a trench striving. When do we rose? So I'll find
Very
something.
beautiful. Yes. Yeah, share a little bit more, please.
Yeah. You, Babylon, are a legacy in our hearts and our minds. You have been mentioned in the Bible 300 times. How many wise men have ancestors inside your dust? Damn those who aided the Persians betrayed the trust. When do we rose? Did you get that?
Yes, yes.
Lord, I am suffering, seeing evil be victorious. The evil one in the middle of the universe feels glorious. Is the answer that all living things are equally human. In the kingdom of heaven, for everyone, there is a plan. When do we rose?
Listening to you read that and knowing about your other books that you have put so much effort into putting together, this I'd like to see or hear about how did your appreciation for writing, for storytelling, for poetry, how did that translate to the what's the Chaldean Cultural Forum that's currently in Canada? Was that established? How was it established? And how did were there colleagues in that area that do similar work? Um, Tell us a little bit about that, and then also let us know what are the activities, because I know you guys are very active. This is how I'd heard so much about you, but we mostly connected because I received an email, an invite for one of your programs, and I thought it was so interesting. So share some of these works with us, please.
Yeah. Well, actually, the Chaldean Cultural Forum, actually, the idea behind it, it was my idea. It was my goal. I mean, my dream, because I was always impressed by the saloons. Saloons in the history. The saloons started in the 18th century, as far as I remember.
I'm sorry,
Uh,
can you explain that a little bit? What is that?
I mean, there were sorry, there were saloons.
Hmm.
They call it saloons. Salon.
Okay.
I mean, they call it saloon, like in French, saloon.
Hmm.
I mean, they started the saloons in the 18th or 17th centuries.
Okay.
They started that, and it was basically a place where people they meet, they interrogate with them, share, they present education, they discuss things. That was transferred to Italy and then to all over the world. And actually, I mean, when I looked at that history, so I thought, well, why we don't create a saloon in Windsor and just starting to do whatever they used to do. So this is the idea behind creating the Chaldean Cultural Forum, and that it was found in 2014. So it was found in 2014, and we gathered together. I got in touch with few of my friends, my colleagues who usually they come to the church, Chaldean church. And then we started the forum. And the forum actually we gather every second Thursday of the week, every second of the month. Every second Thursday of the month, we present a lecture for 1 hour, and then this is followed by a discussion for half an hour, and then there will be a social gathering. We never stopped. We never stopped from 2014 until March 2020 when COVID started. And actually, the only time that we didn't have any meeting was on one of the Ascension Thursday, because we couldn't do that. Anyway, we restarted again in August 2022. When the restrictions for COVID, they were a bit lenient. So we restarted again. We present all the topics except political and religious topics. We don't discuss these issues at all. We leave the politics for politicians. We leave the religious topics for the prayer houses. But we discuss anything.
Like I said earlier, Sabah, you don't want the headache.
Yeah, we don't want
Go
headache
ahead.
with that.
You want
Yeah,
people to focus really
exactly.
on
Exactly.
enjoying arts, culture, history.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. You are right, because our audience, I mean, they are different. They are not only Chaldeans. They are different sort of people. They are different sectors, different beliefs. Doesn't matter. I mean,
No,
what?
that's beautiful. It's like you're
Yeah.
respecting all of your audience. And
Yes.
well, you have something that's very interesting coming up. And
Yes.
if you want to just introduce us to us and tell us the date that it is and the time? And also, are they always held at the same place, or do you travel to different areas depending on the topic, or I don't know how that part works as well.
Yeah, this is a very interesting question, actually. Actually, we used to gather in the church hall when we started, actually, in the Chaldean church. And then, for one reason or another, we gathered in the Maronite church, which were so welcomed over there, to be honest. And then now we meet in they call it the uh, Royal Canadian Legion, and then we just rent the hall. I'm a member in that legion, so we rent a hall. It's a bit discounted the price, not expensive, not that expensive. I mean, and then we just gather over there. So now it is our say we can say it's our headquarters. So yeah, every month is of the same place, in the same place
Okay,
every
and
month.
and tell us about the upcoming one. I believe you have something going on Thursday on the 8th.
Yeah, I mean the upcoming is the speaker is coming from Michigan. He's a basically he's an engineer, but also he's a theologian. He got a degree in theology, and his name is Karam Shammas. He's quite well known. People who follow the religious aspect. I mean, they know about him because he gives a lot of lessons and lectures, online. Uh, so he's also I'm not sure whether he got a degree, but I'm sure he's quite expert in astrology. So he's going to speak about not astronomy. He's expert in astronomy, but he's not speaking about astronomy. He's going to speak about astrology and whether we believe the astrologists or not. And people, I'm sure most of the people they like to have the what you call it, the fortune teller, and like something like that.
Coffee cups.
Yeah, yeah, especially women. I mean, they
Yeah.
are quite interested in this.
Well, and astronomy is a strong part of our history. So,
Yes.
and it looked like an amazing topic. I'm gonna try to attend, but if I can't, I definitely want to reconnect with that person. And I was telling Sabah earlier that his guests, the people that come to the forum, are so interesting. I'm keeping a list of them so that we too can bring them either whether through an interview or highlight their work somehow. But you bring on very interesting guests, and because they offer interesting topics, that's the thing. You want to come and listen to that. I know you had one woman that was even reading poetry.
Yes, yes. Usually after each lecture, there is somebody who's going. There's somebody to present a poem.
Oh,
Just one person.
just for okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
there was a woman.
yeah.
There's
This
a
is
woman
just
poet. I forgot what the topic, but I found your topics unique, and they relate to our history, and they relate to the arts and culture. So
yes.
yeah, I'm glad that you have that community over there, and I hope that one day soon that we could collaborate somehow and do something together
Yeah.
for both.
Right,
Because again,
right.
we're neighbors.
Well. I mean, I'm sure we'll be quite happy. The thing is, I mean, when I mean, all the lectures they are transferred online on the Facebook. So I mean, people that if they can't attend, they can follow them at the same time on Facebook.
Oh, they are live on Facebook. So
Yeah, live on Facebook.
okay, what is your Facebook page in Arabic or is it in English?
No, they can follow it on the Chaldean Cultural Forum
Okay, so we're gonna include a
page.
link to your
Yes,
forum when
yes,
we publish. When we put in our post, we'll put on our comments. We'll put links to your page so that people know that they can also
yeah.
watch it.
Thank you very much. Yeah,
Yeah, because that's very important because there's a lot of
yeah,
people outside of Canada that would like to be
yeah,
connected. That's the
yeah,
wonderful thing. After COVID, we also had to find creative
yeah.
ways to continue our work, and we found that we were able to reach more people as a result.
Oh, thank you
Yeah.
very much. Yeah, that will be quite interesting, actually. Yeah, I mean, yeah, people they follow us live from everywhere. I mean, even we get
Yeah.
the questions. people, they ask questions online
Yeah, yeah.
and we
Send
transfer.
me any of the links that are relevant
Yes,
to you, and
yes,
we will put them in our social media page
I
along
will.
with this interview. Okay,
I
great.
will. Thank you very
So,
much. Yeah.
no problem. And then the next question is: are you working on anything new? Do you have any book in the works or anything like that?
Oh, yeah,
New
for sure.
project? Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I'm working, and I mean, I got poems that could make three other books. But now I am working on one of the books. I mean, as I mentioned, the only thing that takes time is the translation, and I'm quite. I mean, maybe I'll get the book ready within a few months. Uh, it is called "Stumbling on the Threshold of Faith." Stumbling on the Threshold of Faith. So this is the next book. It's also a poetry book.
How can people get a hold of your books? Do you want to later, maybe if you want to share something with us that they can, there's a way to connect with you or something that we can also provide on our social media if they want to purchase your books?
Yeah, the book is available on Amazon all over the world.
Okay.
It is available in all the bookshops in America and Canada.
Okay.
Available, Barnes and Nobles, Chapter, everywhere.
Great. Okay, so they can
And
just look up your name.
just look at my name, and then they can see the books.
Great, great.
Yeah,
So, well, I'm glad that you have more work coming out. I still
yeah,
have
yeah.
to read some of your work, but I'm glad that you're continuing this because
Mhm.
it's very important, as we talked before over the phone, how important it is for us to keep writing, to keep telling our stories, especially with all the stuff that has happened in the past to this community.
Mhm.
And then, so just last question, do you have any parting thoughts for us? Maybe some words of wisdom. Something for our newer generation or our community in general, especially, when it comes to these topics that s- be- what you and I have in similarity is understanding the power of trying to keep our heritage, valuing and preserving our heritage, as well as documenting it. What
Yeah.
would you say to our community about that?
Well, I mean, the thing is, I mean, it's not. It doesn't matter what are you. It matters to be creative in what you are doing. I mean, it doesn't matter whether you are a doctor or writer, engineer, or chef, whatever you are. But the most important thing is to be creative in what you are doing, and that is the most important thing, I would say. So, I mean, life is, life. We all, we add to each other's. We all complete each other's. I mean, there is no only one profession. There have to be varieties of professions. But as I said, it is the most important thing is to be creative in the profession. And as for the doctors, being a doctor, and I have to tell the new generations that it is not only to be just a doctor, not to be only clinician. The good doctor should be like a pentangular, and each side of the pentangular is has to be something. So you have to be a clinician, you have to be a researcher, you have to be a teacher, and you have to be administrator, and you have to be a publisher. So if you can fulfill all these sides of the pentangular, you will be a real doctor.
Beautifully said. Thank you so much, Sabah. I do look forward for both of us working together at some point in the future.
Yes.
But in the meantime, I can't wait to come and attend one of your forums in Canada.
We are most welcome, and thank
And
you
then
very
you're
much.
gonna come visit us, right?
Yeah,
Too.
for
Yes,
sure, for
yes. We're
sure.
gonna visit each other. Okay.
For sure, Johan. Thank you very much, Johan. I
Thank
thank you
you.
personally, as a person, and I thank the Chaldean Cultural Center.
Thank you.
I mean, definitely, I'm quite proud and quite happy to be here with you. Thank you very much
We feel the
for
same
giving
way,
me this
brother.
opportunity. Thank
Thank you.
you.
Thank you. God bless you. Take care. Thank you,
God
everybody,
bless
for
you too.
watching. Take care. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.